What is going on, everybody? Zach RC here, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome along to episode number 9 of the F1 2021 Driver Career Mode. We're here for the 9th round of the Formula 2 Championship here in the Netherlands for Zandvoort. We're getting started here. We had a bit of a poor qualifying. Hopefully we'll be able to make it up in this feature race, and that'll put us on a good run for the sprint race as well. So without further ado, let's jump right into that first race.
Welcome back to Formula 2, where the tension is building for what promises to be another exciting race here in the Netherlands. 4 lefts and 10 rights make up the 14 corners of the narrow and demanding Zandvoort circuit, with plenty of peaks and valleys over the course of the 2.6-mile lap, which will demand absolute concentration from our drivers here today. As we await the start of another hugely anticipated Formula 2 race, I'm joined again by Davide Valsecchi. Davide, as a former GP2 champion, can we get some insight to what is running through these young drivers' heads as they sit out on the grid?
Ciao Alex, it's a pleasure to be here. There are nervy moments, there is no doubts about that. Mental strength is the key to remaining calm and focusing on the upcoming race. Formula 2 is so competitive, and all of these drivers knows that they are going to be pushing each other all of the way. In this sport, you have to be able to control your nerves.
Let's look at the grid order for today's race while the cars make their final preparations. Mick Schumacher lines up on pole position, with Yuki Tsunoda alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Matsushita, Piquet, Callum-Ilott, and Alesi, Daruvala, Nissany, Giotto, Robert Schwartzman, Ticktum, Dragovic, Guan Yu Zhou, Cohen, Armstrong, Samaya, Sato, and Nikita Mazepin. Aitken, Delatraz, Markelon, and Sean Gelael completes the grid. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
After the points finish last race, let's aim to keep the momentum going.
So here we are then, guys, on the grid for the feature race. We qualified down in P14. It's a wet qualifying, and I never really do well on the wet. Of course, you'll be able to see the Hungarian race from a couple of episodes ago to prove that. So here we go now to 5 red lights for the feature race from P14 of the grid here at Zandvoort. Lights out, and we are underway. It's a decent getaway, but the better starts around us. There goes Armstrong, our teammate on the left-hand side, up into P13. We're going to try and dive down the inside, going into turn 1. We've just about come in behind Robert Schwartzman. We've moved up to 11th place, gone over the curb there, and we're kind of forcing Dragovic and that's Giotto out as well. We're just trying to run a line here, so we managed to get away with it without taking anyone of them out. We go around the outside of Schwartzman, so we're up into P10, and we try and go around the outside of Ticktum as well, but unable to do so, and Schwartzman's coming back on the attack on the inside, going through as we continue through the first sector now. We're still in control there. We've held on to P10 here, and moving towards the end of the opening sector. We're chasing down Ticktum for P9. Of course, we need to get back as many places as we can, because in the lead is championship leader Yuki Tsunoda. So we've got to be trying to take his, trying to just get as close to him as we can. Because if we're going to lose the points lead, we're going to have to minimise the deficit between us and him in order for us to still stand a chance. Because we've only got 3 rounds to go after this. It's going to be a very close run to the end of the season. But anyway, we've made our way past Ticktum now. We're chasing down Giuliano Alesi in the race time in front of us, and there we go up his inside in towards the chicane, and there we go. We've made our way up into P8 here, and next up is Roy Nissany in the, I think that's the Trident car. I can never remember which one of these cars is which, because the Sherroos and the Trident are quite similar, if you ask me. Anyway, coming through this last bank turn, I learned on the Breaking Point episode, or the most recent Breaking Point episode, go and check that out, there'll be a card on the top right now. I learned that the bank turn is where the AI slow up quite a bit, but in Formula 2 they don't do that at all. I wasn't able to get any time there, but nonetheless, when it goes to the inside, Nissany locks up. We've hit his back tyre, but we still managed to find our way past, and now we're battling his teammate Pedro Piquet. We found our way past him pretty easily, and now moving on to the start of lap number 4, we've got Jehan Daruvala in the car, who we had a pretty nice battle with in the last episode as well. So they're card on the top right for that as well now. So we're going to pull to the inside, going down in towards turn number 1. We've set a purple last sector there, just got to point that out. We've managed to make our way past Daruvala, and that puts us up into P5. That brings us to another place, and our next target being Callum-Ilott in the Virtuosi. We're going to pull to the right hand side once again. The same tactic works for all of these drivers. And back into turn 1, we've got P4 away from them. So a very good drive in there. We've managed to work our way up 10 places here from P14 all the way up to P4. We've done a very good job here. So moving further on now to lap 7, Ilot has got a very good run on us. We're still second in the championship here because Sonoda's going to go on to win. We've been able to close down Matthew Seacher, but here comes Ilot to the left hand side though, going towards turn number 1. We're still going to have the inside line, so we gave him the space. So here we are on the inside, making that move, and we're holding off Daruvula at the same time. Pedro Piqué trying to get in that battle behind us. Moving further on now, through the right-hander and into the left-hander here. We've still got Ilot on the inside, which is good for us because we need him to get ahead of the Carlin driver in order to deny Carlin more points in the Constructors' Championship. But that is all that happened in this race. The other Carlin, Yuki Tsunoda, takes the victory and takes the championship lead away from us. We're going to come home in P4 here, and that was a very enjoyable race. I really had fun during that one.
That's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Ferme.
So another fantastic victory for Carlin today. So Davide, how exactly did they set themselves apart from the pack today?
It was down to one thing: consistent pace over everyone else out there on the track. We could spend a great deal of time talking about race and tire strategy, what else occurred on the track, but at the end of the day, the difference here was down to simply being faster on track than everyone else. Amazing skill on show.
And there you have it, today's winners. Having raced some of the biggest names in F1 to date, Carlin have once again shown their expertise when it comes to recruiting new talent. No doubt today's winners have a bright future ahead of them. They certainly deserve it after today's performance. So then, it's time to see how this result affects the Drivers' Championship. Yuki Tsunoda takes the lead of the Drivers' Championship. And now, Davide Valsecchi, let me ask you, who is your driver of the day?
For me, the RT driver was the best in the field today. There was a lot of going on down the field. There's no question for me. They were the best.
And here's how things are shaping up in the Teams' Championship. Carlin moved to the top of the table. There was also a strong showing from the MP Motorsport team today as they make their way up the standings. After all this drama, you'd be mad not to join us for the next race. We hope to see you then. Take care.
So there you have it. Then Yuki Tsunoda wins the race and swaps the championship lead away from us. We gained 10 places there from P14 all the way up to 4th. That's 12 points for the championship, but we have lost the championship lead, and so we've got serious work to do in the sprint race. We'll be starting ahead of Tsunoda, so we've already got that jump on him. We're going to have to try and win this race in order to make up those points.
And we're back. After yesterday's feature race, the top 8 drivers have been reversed on the grid, setting up some exciting action as we launch into today's event, the sprint race. Joining me for the race today, I'm delighted to welcome back to the commentary box the 2012 GP2 champion, Davide Valsecchi. Davide, it's great to have you with us for today's race. Any tips for our drivers out on the track today?
It's a real pleasure to be here, Alex. We are in for a spectacular day in Formula 2. My advice is to stay calm, look after the car, look after the tires, but don't be afraid to push when you see an opportunity. Using the DRS on some of those long straights will be crucial for the driver looking to make a challenge.
We need a good result today if we want to catch Tsunoda in the Drivers' Championship.
Inspiring words once again there from Jeff. We line up on the grid for the sprint race here at Zandvoort. We're starting P5 after the reverse grid change. So here we go, we're going to jump into this race. We go to 5 red lights now for the sprint race here at Zandvoort from P5 on the grid. We've got to beat Tsunoda today. Lights out and we are underway as our attempt to beat the Japanese driver begins. Off we go towards turn 1. Schumacher got a really good run. We're being forced out to the outside. We're going to try and switch it back here. But on the inside, we're taking it 3 abreast into turn 1 on both Matsushita and Ilot. And that was a very clean move, if I do say so myself. And that puts us up into P4 off the start. We've got 3 cars in front of us. Pedro Piqué, we're trying to go around the outside of him. Going through the braking zone, we brake just a little bit later than he did. And that's going to allow us up into the podium places. So a very good start here. But of course, right now, it's all going to depend on where Tsunoda finishes as to whether we take the lead in the Drivers' Championship or not. Next target, Jahan Daruvula. Once again, another exciting battle with him awaits us. We're chasing him around the track here. We need to try and get past him as quickly as we can to not allow Nastani to pull away too much. Because he's now in the lead from the start. We're going to try and pull to the inside of Daruvula here. He's forced us a bit down low. We've got go on the curb, and that's just about the kind of line we need, and that put us up into P2. So we're chasing down the sun. We've got no DRS here, not until lap 3 of the 7 laps to make up this race. Daruvula may come back at us with a slipstream though, so we're going to have to be wary of him, but it doesn't look like he's getting any ground. We'll hold on to P2 for the time being, and we're going to try and set a move up as quickly as we can here. So really closing in on this, only about half a second behind him. So a move into turn 1 does seem like the best option, unless he slows up big time in the bank right-hander. We've almost lost control of the car there. I always get scared going over that curb, simply because it's very easy to spin the car. We're still second in the championship as of now, because Tsunoda is still in a position where he can hold the championship lead from today. The Sunny sits the fastest lap as we begin lap 2. We're going to go from a long way back, very late on in the day. We've hit his car. I think we've given him a bit of damage, but nonetheless we're now up into the race lead. So in just over a lap we've gone from P5 all the way to P1. So moving further on to lap 3 now, we've got a very commanding lead at this point of about 3 seconds, and only a real mistake will really screw us one up. We've gone way wide there, and we're unable to get back on the track, and they go off into the gravel, and that's not good. We're going to lose all that time we've just gained in the first 3 laps, and there we go, down into P3. Very bit of a dangerous re-entry there, I'm not going to lie, but right now we're definitely not in control of this race. Schumacher there is up in P3, followed closely by he's following Daruvula, and then we've got Roy Nastani back into the lead. I think that's Roy Nastani. It should be. So moving up through the last corner now, we're going to try and go on the attack of Schumacher. We've got DRS, so this is going to be crucial here. Going into turn 1, there we go, to the inside. Oh no, it's Pedro Piquet, my bad. Nastani was the one who came to pit, I didn't mention that. It must have pitted to replace that front wing damage. So nonetheless, we've taken P3, now we're going on the attack, trying to pass Daruvula into turn 1. Jeff says we need to get to the end of the race on the tyres. Mate, the race is 7 laps, we've got 2 laps left, so, you know, get a grip. So here we go now, still trying to pass Daruvula, and it's absolutely crucial that we do here. So just so we can get those points for the championship, we need to deny Carlin this late on in the season. We're going to try and go around the outside once again. We're unable to get the move done. We're still continuing to give chase there. We're still side by side with him. We may be able to get the job done through these next set of corners. He backs out. Smart decision there from him. We've moved up into P2, and now one more target remains. It's the Trident of Pedro Piquet. I can never tell which car is which between Trident and Sharrows. Here we go now, nonetheless, on the DRS. Down the home straight to begin the final lap of the race. We'll pull to the right hand side and make the move. We set the fastest lap as well, and into turn 1, retaking the lead after running right into the gravel on lap 3. PK still trying to make the pass on us, and we're checking the championship standings one more time. But Tsunoda's still in control of the championship lead by a very close margin now. So nonetheless, we come to the last couple of corners now. We've become somewhat of a sprint race specialist as we round the final corner now to take our 3rd victory of the campaign here in Zandvoort. Get in.
Absolutely awesome. Just amazing. Well done.
So as they climb out of the car, the ART team are ready and waiting to celebrate a thoroughly deserved win. Davide, what do you think made the difference here?
This race, this week, was about one thing and one thing only: consistency. Anyone can be quick for just 1 lap, but there's a difference between that and being quick every lap, over and over and over. If you can do that, if you can gain ground when your opponents make mistakes, but then not make mistakes on your own, you can just push and push.
An amazing race today, and a very well-deserved one too. The team worked very hard to get exactly the right setup out of the F2 car that works for them, and the results speak for themselves. ARTGP winners today. After this round of the World Championship, here's how things look in the drivers' table. The gap at the top of the championship has been cut down after a difficult race for our championship leader. And so, driver of the day then, Davide Valsecchi, who do you think you'd go for?
For me, the RT driver was the best in the field today. That was a commanding performance today. Very impressive indeed.
On to the teams then. Carlin have extended their lead at the top of the standings. There was also a strong showing from the Univirtuosi team today as they make their way up the standings. That's it for today's race. From Davide and I, it's goodbye, and we'll see you when Formula 2 returns.
So things are still very close in the championship for us here. But guys, that's where we're going to leave this one. If you did enjoy it, make sure to subscribe and smash the like button, share it around to everyone you know. And with that, I will see you guys in the next episode. Thank you guys. I appreciate you guys. See you later. Goodbye.